In today's video, we're diving into the chaos surrounding Gavin Newsom as he scrambles to shift the blame from Elon Musk to Donald Trump for spreading misinformation. Poor guy. Meanwhile, new details are surfacing about Karen Bass' shocking delays in decision making during critical moments. There's a lot to unpack here, from failed leadership to the ripple effects of mismanagement. So let's get to it. Let's start with Newsom. For years, he's had every opportunity to deal and fix problems such as wildfires, homelessness, home affordability, you name it. But instead, he spends more time blaming others than actually fixing problems, fixing issues, real life issues. And his latest target, Elon Musk and Donald Trump. According to him, they're spreading misinformation, but the real destruction is his failure to lead. That's the fact, his failure to lead. Instead of focusing on improving California, he's going on a media tour trying to control the narrative, while the rest of us Californians are dealing with the consequences of his lack of leadership. Let's take a listen to an interview done by Anderson Cooper interviewing Newsom. Let's check it out.
Even asked this question, but the president-elect chose to attack you, blame you for this. One can't even respond to it. I mean, people are literally fleeing. People have lost their lives. Kids lost their schools. Families completely torn asunder. Churches burned down. This guy wanted to politicize it. I have a lot of thoughts, and I know what I want to say. I won't. I stood next to the president of the United States of America today, and I was proud to be with Joe Biden. And he had the backs of every single person in this community. He didn't play politics, didn't try to divide any of us.
Finally, your message to the folks here, to this community.
I mean, we have their backs, and we're going to be back, and this is going to be a long recovery process. But look, we have residents moving back into Paradise, California. I've seen remarkable recovery efforts. I've seen remarkable sense of community, purpose, resilience. So I'm not just playing the politician role of optimism. I really am long-term optimistic. But the devastation to hear people wailing and crying, concerned about their pet, their family, they're just bewildered about what they're experiencing. And again, not just experience. I was not talking past tense. This is happening in real time. 0% containment.
He said a whole lot of nothing. He is politicizing this. He's blaming. He's just talking. And he's doing nothing to correct this, nothing to make decisions that are helping people. So what is this that California has no water? The higher hydrants have no water. The reservoir was empty. So what is this? What kind of leaders are these? They're just corrupt, incompetent, corrupted people.
What is the situation with the water? Obviously, in the Palisades ran out last night in the hydrants. I was trying to firefighter in this block. They left because there was no water in the hydrant here.
The local folks are trying to figure that out. I mean, just when you have a system that's not dissimilar to what we've seen in other extraordinarily large-scale fires, whether it be pipe, electricity, or whether it just be the complete overwhelm of the system. I mean, those hydrants are typical for 2 or 3 fires, maybe 1 fire. You have something at this scale, but again, that's going to be determined by the local.
He said local folks are going to have to figure that out. OMG. That's supposed to be you, Mr. Governor. That's why we voted for you. Unfortunately, we voted for the wrong guy, but you're it. This reminded me of 2 things. When the doors of the Boeing plane blew off the plane, they fired the CEO. Why can't we fire this guy? This guy is incompetent. Another thing that came to mind is back in 2020, the train got ransacked somewhere in downtown LA, and all the products and everything was upside down, and people were stealing the stuff that was there. And he was like, what's going on? Who's in charge? What's going on? Listen, Mr. Governor, you were in charge and you didn't do nothing. You are in charge. Why can't we fire you? We should fire him. He sure deserves to be fired. California wants and deserves a governor that does only government for the well-being of people, not someone who focuses on a million things and does nothing. You're supposed to govern for the well-being of people. That's why people voted for you. Here's a video of 2018 Donald Trump warning Governor Newsom what could happen in California. Let's take a look.
Going to have, hopefully this is going to be the last of these, because this was a really, really bad one. And I know Gavin's committed, we're all committed, I'm committed to make sure that we get all of this cleaned out and protected. We got to take care of the floors, you know, the floors of the forests, very important. You look at other countries where they do it differently, and it's a whole different story. I was with the president of Finland, and he said, we have a much different, we're a forest nation. He called it a forest nation. And they spend a lot of time on raking and cleaning and doing things, and they don't have any problem. And when it is, it's a very small problem. So I know everybody's looking at that, to that end, and it's going to work out.
So that was President Trump back in 2018, standing next to Newsom, talking about what needed to be done in order to avoid what we're currently experiencing. But Newsom completely ignored it. Let's be real here. This isn't about getting advice from a political opponent. It's about ignoring common sense to bring solutions that could save lives, homes, and billions of dollars in damages. This is a result of years of neglect, bad policies, and prioritizing political optics over practical action. Think about it. We have poured billions of tax dollars into environmental infrastructure programs. But where has the money gone? Certainly not toward fire prevention or water management issues. Instead, we're left with reservoirs at low levels, water being wasted, and no real plan to address the root causes of these disasters. This isn't about bad leadership, it's about negligence. And what's worse, Newsom doesn't learn from his mistakes. Year after year, the same things keeps happening again and again. Instead of taking accountability, he blames everyone else, whether it's Trump, Elon Musk, or whoever is close by and he can point a finger at. At some point, we have to ask, when will the excuses stop? And when will we see real solutions? Californians deserve better than this cycle of inaction and blame. And then there's Karen Box. The warnings about extreme fire conditions were there days in advance. Experts were sounding the alarm. And what did she do? She went to Ghana. She was celebrating, attending cocktail parties, and taking pictures of high-profile events. Emergency preparedness should have been top priority, while Californians were losing their homes, their livelihood, and communities. Yes, the mayor was celebrating, attending cocktail parties instead of declaring a state of emergency or preparing resources. By the time she returned, fires were spread, families were displaced. Response was an unorganized mess. It was just chaotic. If that's not enough to boil your blood, let's rewind to 2021. What a hypocrite. The same person who called out others for leaving during a crisis went out and did the same thing. She left Los Angeles when they needed her the most. The double standards are unbelievable, and it's an insult to every Californian who expects their leaders to put people first instead of their own priorities. What was the purpose of being in Ghana? Who knows? And we know she has made 15 trips to Cuba. I wonder what she's doing. The fact is that she's very incompetent. Let's take a look at this to confirm that she's incompetent.
Information, resources, and shelter is available. All of this can be found at URL. Los Angeles, together is how we will get through this. Through the heroism of our firefighters,
This clearly confirms that she's not the right person for this job. She's incompetent. She sent people to URL. Incompetent, for lack of a better word. And then these leaders make crazy budget cuts, slashing down budgets. For example, the fire department. And you would think they would prioritize fire prevention, emergency response, especially when fires are so frequent and devastating. That's not their priority. Californians deserve better than this. Leadership is not about words or appearances, it's about taking action. Cutting critical budgets while ignoring long term solutions is not leadership, it's negligence. It's time we, the people of California, demand accountability, not just empty promises from politicians. Let me know what you think. I can't wait to hear your comments. Please like, comment, and share, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.